So I'm diagnosed with a narcissistic personality disorder. So that basically makes me a self-aware narcissist, and I'm going to tell you how I process that. So first of all, this is an actual mental health diagnosis. So you can be a self-aware narcissist. It's not just qualitative of what other people say about it. I can talk about my experiences with it. So I'm well aware this is because of the stigma. So if I say something that doesn't align with how your ex or something was terrible to you, I can see how people are going to easily dismiss anything else that I say. So another thing I've been told is that I'm too self-reflective to be an actual narcissist, and that kind of just goes back to like what I said in the beginning. The qualitative state in which people process narcissistic personality disorder is always through the lens of another person instead of, the actual person that might have it. So I'm not saying that it isn't a conversation to be had how cluster Bs make other people feel, but if you can lend voices to people with other disorders or disabilities or whatever, then I don't think cluster Bs still have to be an exception either. So if you don't consider yourself disordered in any way, I think in a sense anything that I tell you should sound distorted or just confusing, even to like the littlest degree. But back to being too self-reflective to be a narcissist, I just want to say that cluster B people, we are the most hyper-vigilant motherfuckers you will ever come across. So people with cluster B disorders, we have a pretty distorted sense of self. So if I'm ever saying something that, I don't know, is actually quite clear to you, I come across normal enough so it doesn't seem like I have NPD, or this cluster B person doesn't really seem like they're cluster B. I think in theory we know how to be a good person, whatever that means. I think what you have to understand is that these disorders are classified with poor emotional regulation, hence the hypervigilance. And to be honest, I think self-reflection can be just as much of an indication for insecurity than actual self-sustainability. So if I'm just being honest as a cluster B person, I am constantly trying to make myself not go off the rails. Like, I think it's the whole, like, I'm telling myself all the time, please do not get in your own way. Please do not get in your own way. So every single time I think about an outburst I've had in my life, I think to myself, did he or she actually deserve that? Was I actually the one just, overreacting? And I can't get a clear answer to it, honestly. And in the midst of that, I also have thoughts like, should I not have let that slide? Did I just take that when I really shouldn't have had to, take it? So it's quite difficult to make sense of my behavior, but I'm trying really hard.